Kyiv calls for UN Security Council session over Russian nuclear plans. Ukraine's foreign ministry criticized plans by Vladimir Putin to station tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus and called for an emergency UN Security Council session to address the potential threat. Russia once again confirms its chronic inability to be a responsible steward of nuclear weapons as a means of deterrence and prevention of war, not as a tool of threats and intimidation, it said in a statement. NATO has also condemned the move, saying the organization is closely monitoring the situation. It added that despite the move being dangerous and irresponsible, it didn't feel any need to adjust its own nuclear posture. Kyiv's top security official has denounced Moscow's plans to put nuclear weapons in Belarus. Oleksiy Danilov, Secretary of Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council, tweeted on Sunday that Mr. Putin's announcement was a step towards internal destabilization of Belarus that maximized the level of negative perception and public rejection of Russia and Mr. Putin in Belarusian society. The Kremlin, Danilov added, took Belarus as a nuclear hostage. Russia plans to maintain control over the ones it sends to Belarus, and construction of storage facilities for them would be completed by July 1, Putin said. Russia has stored its tactical nuclear weapons at dedicated depots on its territory, and moving part of the arsenal to a storage facility in Belarus would up the ante in the Ukrainian conflict by placing them closer to Russian aircraft and missiles already stationed there. NATO has also rebuked Moscow for its dangerous and irresponsible nuclear rhetoric, a day after Vladimir Putin said Russia would station tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus. NATO is vigilant, and we are closely monitoring the situation. We have not seen any changes in Russia's nuclear posture that would lead us to adjust our own, a NATO spokesperson said. Russia's reference to NATO's nuclear sharing is totally misleading. NATO allies act with full respect of their international commitments. Russia has consistently broken its arms control commitments, most recently suspending its participation in the New START treaty. Belarusian opposition leader Svetlana Tsikhanouskaya has said her country's president, Alexander Lukashenko, must be removed and brought before tribunal. Europe won't be safe until Belarus dictator is removed and brought before tribunal to face justice for crimes against our country and Ukraine, added Ms. Tsikhanouskaya, who is in exile. She left her country after a rigged election in 2020 saw her robbed of what would have been a remarkable success against Mr. Lukashenko. He has since proved one of Vladimir Putin's staunchest allies in the war against Ukraine. Belarus has let Russia use its territory to launch land and air attacks since the full-scale invasion began in February 2022. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Defense has issued its daily intelligence update, revealing that scores of Iranian Shahed missiles have been fired by Moscow's forces. It added that Russia was likely launching the missiles from two places: Krasnodar Krai in the east and Bryansk Oblast in the northeast. This allows them to target a large amount of territory in Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky's chief of staff, Andriy Yermak, reported on March 26 that a Russian airstrike hit two multi-storied buildings in Avdiivka, a city in Donetsk Oblast. There were no casualties, according to Yermak. He did not provide further details. Earlier on March 24, Oleksiy Danilov, Ukraine's military spokesperson, said that the area of Avdiivka is currently one of the most active on Ukraine's front line, but Russian troops are getting exhausted there. Russian forces are trying to encircle the city of Avdiivka, deemed the second Bakhmut, and attacking Mariinka, Danilov said on national television, adding that there were no losses of territory overnight. Avdiivka has been a frontline city since Russia first invaded Donbass in 2014 and is largely destroyed. It is located just 10 kilometers north of the center of the Russian-occupied Donetsk city. In his nightly video address, Volodymyr Zelensky said it is Russia's full-scale defeat that will be a reliable guarantee against new aggressions and crises. Ukraine's president added the Kremlin is losing in its efforts to spiritually enslave our people. He also said that in cooperation with the International Criminal Court, the Ukrainian justice system is doing everything to ensure that Russian war criminals are held accountable.